This right here. I don't know if it'll be important, but if I have to put it, it feels like it'll be important. Alright, it's time to finish this fever dream. Let's get going to the last session.
I think that's enough of that for now.
Whoa.
You're quite fond of this show, aren't you? Okay, come on. Let's get you down to the observation room.
Oh. I'm in a wheelchair.
This place must be starting to feel like home to you. Don't worry. Try and get you out of here eventually. Just in here.
Wait, if that was the exit.
Okay, are we through in the next room? Just relax and we'll get started in a moment.
Right, Mr. Asian, now are you ready? Just hit record on the tape deck in front of you when you're ready.
You're the boss, bud.
This is subject 12-19-86-23, new session entry. We have myself, Dr. Alexander, leading, and in a room we have our patient, Mr. James Asian. As we know, James has recently recovered from a 2-week coma following his accident. In our last 3 sessions, James's attempts to recollect events of the accident seen him merging his memory with his imagination. These episodes have always ended in panic, and we've had to terminate the session abruptly. Let's try and do this one better, James. So when you're ready, let's bring this back. I know how difficult this must be, but you can do this. James, it's time to remember. Your mind is like a conscious black box.
Here we go.
It can show you your memories. Look into
And
it.
the walls are bleeding. This might be another seizure warning here. That's how this thing always ends up.
In your most recent episode, you recalled a false memory of a remote weather station. You were isolated from the rest of the world, locked inside your coma. We interacted with you daily, encouraging you to wake. Your family would do number puzzles with you. Anything really to bring you back. People needed answers, James. Do you remember?
I have another signal here for you, James. It's at 5610 FM. You can't miss it.
2304. Type in the numbers, James. You gotta see this. This is 20F. 12, 19, 86, 23, 04. Type in the numbers, James. You gotta see this. This is 20F. 12, 19,
20F?
86, 23, 04. Type in the numbers, James. You gotta see this. This is 20F. 12, 19, 86, 23, 04. Type in the numbers, James.
Okay. Report. arrived on scene to discover two cars that had been involved in a near head-on collision. Mr. Ayton found lying down outside his vehicle with head injuries. An ambulance was immediately called. His passenger was trapped in the vehicle in critical condition from wounds sustained in the collision. The driver of the blue sedan was Mr. Hennings and found dead on arrival. It was noticed that there was a strong smell of whiskey from the driver and an empty whiskey bottle on the passenger seat. Mr. Ayton was questioned on scene. He described an oncoming blue sedan being clearly out of control, which he swerved to avoid. Mr. Ayton's passenger was his sister. The driver of the blue sedan was an ex-police officer of 20 years. So, everything's circled. That's my guess. There we go.
Find the signal, James. Listen to the voices. You have to face it, James. Finally.
7,000 FM.
It's not like him, at all. I've worked with Officer Hennings for 6 years and not once have we even talked about alcohol. Drunk driving. He was a father, a husband, he was fine. No way he caused this. It's him, this Haitian guy.
Shut, plunging
He's
into
got something to
darkness.
hide.
A light flickers on. This doesn't make sense to you. You step out into the hospital ward. Only it seems abandoned. Your vision is blurry. All of your episodes were recorded to tape. This is the 4th. You tense up. Someone else is here. I don't know why my mouse keeps appearing at the top of the screen, I really don't. You grab the keys from the table. They weigh heavy in your hands. You spent most waking moments in here. The only videos they have, some horror compilation. Trash. The waiting area is dark, but you feel a presence right behind you. I don't like that. I don't like that. Someone breathes on your neck, standing over you. You feel dread in the pit of your stomach.
Okay, we have a 22-year-old male just brought in from a vehicle collision. He was awake and mobile at the scene, but collapsed on arrival to the emergency ward. The other passengers died in the accident. I'm getting no pulse. Prepare for defib. Amp charge full to 10 and give me 100 joules. Come on, 100 joules. Charging up full to 10. Come on.
Joules.
Can we get this on the screen, please? Clear. No reaction from first stage. Let's try higher. 200 joules. Keep the amp charged at 10. $200 joules. Keep the charge at 10. Let's go. Okay, we have a reaction of some sort here, a weak signal. Let's keep going. Increase again. 360, charge full. Come on, 360, hurry. Clear. Well, would you look at that? It seems we have a pulse. Rhythm is stable. We need to run an X-ray right away. Where are we with that X-ray? Let's get it going now, please. Looks like an intracerebral hemorrhage. We need to drain this now to relieve pressure. Prepare for trepanation. Switch on a drill, please. The drill, please. Mr. Asian, you've made excellent progress. You're doing great. We need you to stay calm and try to relax. We're going to attempt to alleviate some of this discomfort.
No. Not only is tonight New Year's Eve, but tomorrow you leave on a 6-month trip abroad with friends. Mom, Dad, and your sister Jennifer have decided to throw a party to celebrate it all. The house is full. You're in the living room, and as usual, you don't recognize a soul. The room is full of chatty strangers, mostly friends of Mom and Dad. There is a door to the hall. You push through the crowd into the hallway. The hallway is as welcoming as ever, only this time the folks have put a great big banner up across the main wall. Half-finished drinks are abandoned on almost every horizontal surface. The stairs lead up, although the party is firmly downstairs. Same as ever. Stairs, door to the living room, door to the kitchen. They say all the best parties are in the kitchen. The kitchen is full of people and loud. There are drinks and food on the table, and the party is in full swing. Dad has cooked a hog roast, which sits proudly on the table, although no one is eating it. There is a utility room and writing on the wall. Also, Jen is here signaling you. You push through, apologizing over and over to get to Jennifer. You hug, you're going to miss each other. You thank her for the party. She asks if you are enjoying the party. You tell her it's great, even though you don't really know anyone. She tells you to enjoy it anyway and loosen up. She asks you to get her a drink. She speaks up over the din, asking you to get her a drink. Get her a drink. You pour Jen a drink and one for yourself too. There's never an awkward silence with Jennifer. She always has a question. She asks if you have everything sorted for the big trip. You tell her yes, that you have packed everything with plenty of room to spare. Another hug. Your family have really gone out of their way to make this trip happen for you. It might be what you need to get some perspective and maybe not fuck up so much. She's going to miss you. You're going to miss her. She walks away. Jen has disappeared into the crowd. You're left standing, nodding and smiling at the approving faces. There's so much to do for this move. Can't mess it up. But first, a drink. You pouring down another drink. Anything to move the night along. You're about to go to the hall when you notice the utility room door is open. A first. You open the door and peer in. You're never allowed in here normally. This is where Dad keeps his fine wines and whiskeys, ceiling to floor racks, a collector, although he does actually drink them too. There is a bottle with a ribbon round it and a card. You pick up the whiskey and the card. It's your dad's handwriting. Son, we're so proud of you and everything you've achieved. You've earned this. It's a bottle of a 25-year-old double malt. You shouldn't really, but you have to try it. With your whiskey in hand, you take it to the room around you. With the whiskey in your hand, with your whiskey in hand, you take in the room around you. There must be hundreds, no thousands of pounds worth of drink in here. You really must thank your dad for the whiskey. You head back into the kitchen, clutching your new best friend. You stumble out of the utility room and back into the kitchen. That is one strong whiskey. You take another swig and give the thumbs up to Dad across the room. He nods and winks. You go back out to the hallway. A few bumps and laughs on the way through and you make it to the hall. You stop dead in your tracks. It's Jen. She's covered in blood. She's staring straight at you. No one else notices. Blood is dripping down her face. It's mixing with tears. You don't understand. I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
We tried our best, Mrs. Asian, but her injuries were too severe.
No, I don't understand. I was just talking to her.
I'm afraid Jennifer passed away before we could get to her in surgery. We did the best we could. I am so sorry.
Where is she? Let me see her.
Please, Mrs. Asian, take a seat.
I don't want to take a seat. Let me talk to her. Now.
I'll arrange for you to see her. In the meantime, James is in recovery. He's stable for now.
I don't want to see him.
You are standing in the hallway. Something has stopped you in your tracks. While searching your mind, your sister interrupts. She waves her hand in front of you and asks if you can drive her home. You still feel out of sorts. Those words echo. There's no point till you find the car keys. You'd love to call it a night, but Jen is waiting patiently. You're sure your keys are in the living room? The living room has a much more relaxed atmosphere compared to the kitchen. Various guests are sat on the chairs having civilized conversations. There's a coffee table in the middle of the room. Your mom is pouring a drink at the drinks cabinet. Tears immediately start to appear in her eyes. My son, off to America. She gives you a hug. You search through all the jackets and coats until you find yours. Aha! Car keys in the pocket. You grab both. Keys in hand, you head back into the hall. Jen thanks you for helping her out. She has work in the morning and no one else is in any fit state to drive. You can handle it though. You know the road like the back of your hand, don't you? You open the front door and walk out into the freezing night. The cold air hits you. You are glad to have your jacket with you. There is a dusting of snow around you as you step down from the porch. The yard extends around the back of the house, and the car sits at the front of the house. Go to the car. You fumble with the car handle, confused, until Jen tells you to maybe use the key in your hand. Fumbling with the car keys, you eventually get the door open and climb inside. The car is freezing. As you fumble around with your seatbelt, your sister opens up the car glove box and hands you a note and a key that was inside. She tells you that it's for when you return. You try to turn the ignition with sheer willpower, despite holding keys in your hand. It takes a number of attempts, but you eventually slot the key into the ignition. You turn the key in the ignition and the car roars to life. The car squeals, but stays stationary. Jen suggests releasing the brake, giving you a wide-eyed stare. You very hesitantly release the handbrake. You put the car in gear and pull out the driveway like a first-time driver. You really shouldn't be driving. I am driving, very drunk, on the road towards the town where your sister stays. Jen started dozing off as soon as the journey got going. This shouldn't take long. You come to a junction. Is it a left or right? I can't remember. You don't want to, but you had better ask Jen for directions. She grunts and throws her arm to the left. It's left. Of course it's left. You turn the car at the junction and accelerate off. Confident that you are on the right road now, you loosen up and put your foot down on the accelerator. You feel powerful as the engine roars at your command. Jen sits up in her chair and clutches your arm. She asks you to slow down. That's not what really happened though, is it?
You're all over the place, James. Pull over.
Jen is hitting your arm and yelling at you. Crazy sister. Strange. There is a set of headlights coming directly at you, but really slow. Like slow motion. You try to react, but your body isn't responding. There's nothing you can do to stop this. There's no way to control it. The lights
James,
merge with your car.
Pull over.
The outside joins the inside. The whole world around you begins to scream.
It was at this very moment, wasn't it, James? The moment you lost it all. Your sister, her parents, herself. And then you made it worse. Go on. Show us what you did.
You wake up in the car. Your world is upside down. Your seatbelt struggles against gravity, trying to hold you in your seat. An impact into another car has torn a hole in the chassis. Poisonous fumes spill into the car from the engines. You are in grave danger. You have to get out of here. You can't move. Your seatbelt is still in place. You release yourself from the seat. Gravity takes over as you slump onto the roof of the car. You squeeze through the wreckage and fall to your knees on the ground next to your vehicle. Every breath brings pain to your chest. Your head is throbbing. A blue car is smashed into the passenger side of your car. Your life cannot be ruined by this. You are standing, holding your whiskey and your dad's note, and flashing lights are approaching at a distance. The note, always changing, now reads, "Get through this, James. I don't care if you want to or not." Whoa. Am I supposed to be doing something here? I can't figure anything out. Well, that's not smart thinking, James, is it? They will eventually find it there and will link it to you. I don't know what to do. The hazard lights are blinking and fumes are rising from the engine. Through the smashed windows, you can see the motionless driver. It's an older man. His body is slumped and his face is bloodied. So apparently when I talk about the other driver, that's when these lights go off, so it's gotta be something linked. Well, apparently I do. I've been... Help the other driver. If it won't let me give him the bottle. Hide the whiskey in the blue car. With the lights approaching closer, you begin to hear the shrill of their sirens. You simply cannot go to jail for this. You clean the bottle to remove your connection with the whiskey. You then, very deliberately, spill the remainder of the bottle's contents onto the driver, and you toss the incriminating evidence into the passenger seat. A circle of flashing lights surround you, illuminating the crash site in the darkness. Behind them, an army of people, all staring. One figure steps out, a silhouette, and walks towards you. The silhouette is a police officer, and in uniform. He beckons you to approach. As you approach the man, the pulsating lights around you get dimmer and dimmer while the pain in your head increases. You fall to the ground at his
tearing
feet.
yourself apart over it, but no matter what you keep telling yourself, you have to listen to me. That accident, that poor man, me. You have to remember, it was all your fault. I know what you did. How you left me there to protect yourself. Planting evidence on some poor man. You went headfirst into that officer and you wrecked all of our lives. And then you couldn't even take responsibility. You did the right thing for you and no one else. Save yourself. Only it was wrong, wasn't it? Look at you now. Utterly consumed by it. Say it, James. Say it. Tell them. Listen to yourself.
Dr. Alexander is always watching remotely. I don't know if anyone else is here with him.
It has to end, James.
Do you not understand?
I can't
This
close the door.
episode you're having must come to an end. Make it stop, make it stop.
Oh,
Do you remember?
that's the issue when my mouse keeps appearing on the edge there.
Stop the session, Mr. Asian. Well, I think we've made progress today, Mr. Asian. I guess we should tell the police what you've told us. Although I don't suspect it'll take you anywhere. I think you'll be with us for quite some time. Come on, let's get you back to your shows. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm just left speechless. Really great storytelling. Honestly. It's hard to, like, in a way, it was hard to piece together everything that happened. But it makes sense playing through that last bit about how that alien spacecraft or whatever was the car returning home to that place, which would be after the wreckage, after everything is said and done, to that last one being that you wander outside in the cold, trying to basically fix what's wrong, only to have it be the forthcoming of what it was that you did. This is a really good game. It's very, very, very well done. It definitely pieced everything together as well as I hoped it would. A game like this you might not have such high expectations for, or you may not even expect it to be something you would play, but this was good. This is something I would recommend. If I would have known you could have just unlocked every level from the beginning, I still wouldn't have done it. It was an experience to play through. It's something worth doing. But, as you can see, there's nothing else left at this point. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed. And like, comment, subscribe, all that ordeal. I'll see you in the next game we play. There was fucking subtitles?